He might not have been the biggest free agent name that we expected to have discussions about this offseason. However, after becoming the third highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, we do have to discuss Christian Kirk's dynasty value moving forward. Obviously, the contract is quite lucrative for what he's done so far in his career.
Right.
4 years, $72 million. Okay. Only Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins are paid higher right now as it stands, as we're recording this, than Christian Kirk. I think Devonta Adams is gonna beat that here soon, but we're gonna talk about Christian Kirk from a dynasty perspective. We did not expect to make this video, but in all transparency, if someone makes that much money, we think that you guys probably want to hear our opinions on it and how that might affect dynasty moving forward. So let me ask you first, Badake, how does this change your rankings, if at all?
Look, it doesn't change my rankings at all so far. He's my wide receiver 49. I'm going to keep him my 49. I do believe this could be a massive, massive trap in fantasy moving forward. Or just right here, right now, whatever the case. Let's say you do have Christian Kirk. I would personally advise to sell him as high as possible right now. But yeah, for me, I'm really just trying to keep his value the same because there's so many mouths to feed at Jacksonville right now, and we just don't know who's going to be the guy, who's going to be on the field. There's so many different scenarios that can happen moving forward.
Okay. So for me, he was my wide receiver 49. He is now my wide receiver 45. You know, I think potentially, I can't speak for the rest of the community, but I think we might be lower on him compared to others. I don't know. I can't speak on that. I just imagine some people might be curious as to why we're so low. I couldn't move him any higher than wide receiver 45. However, I did have to move him over some other players who don't have guaranteed contracts, who are aging players, who, you know, I don't know how long they're going to be relevant in Dynasty. Right. Whereas I see this contract, I know he's going to, you know, be on this team for however long. I want to talk about the good to start with Christian Kirk, okay? So there is some reason to hope. Okay. While I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 in the NFL, he's getting paid like a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Okay. Money talks for most people. The Jags organization, as well as Christian Kirk, they will want to come out this year and prove that this was not a lucrative deal. It is. It 100% is.
Right.
But there will be a mindset within the offense, within the coaching staff, within the organization to go out and prove why we paid this money for Christian Kirk. So at the end of the day, target share should follow. There should be a bigger piece of the pie, if you will, in the target share that he's going to get in Jacksonville compared to the target share that he got in Arizona. So there is some reason to be at least optimistic. And it's not like he's going to a team that has Jameis Winston. No disrespect there, but you know, at this point, it's hard to see Jameis Winston being someone that can make fantasy wide receivers super relevant.
Right.
He's going to a team that has someone that we believe in. I mean, I believe in Trevor Lawrence. I still think that he's a good quarterback. I still think that he can develop to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. That's a different story entirely. Let's also talk about Laviska Shenault. The big conversation was, well, why are they doing this? Because Laviska is playing the slot. He played, like, I think a higher percentage of slot snaps than Christian Kirk did last year, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as this news came out about Christian Kirk signing, there was also news that immediately followed about them shopping Laviska Shenault.
Correct.
So it is of my belief that, from what I've heard, right, connecting the dots, Laviska probably won't be on this roster. Maybe there's some damaged relationship there. Maybe we know he's not lived up to expectations, right? So could be an even bigger target share that's going to open up here for Christian Kirk. If Laviska Shenault is still on the team to start the year, it's much less attractive than if Laviska's gone, right? Because I don't know exactly where you're going to put Laviska if Kirk is your bona fide slot guy. And the other thing I want to talk about that is good with Christian Kirk is his efficiency. And I just want to actually apologize to Christian Kirk because on stream yesterday, Badake, when he signed this deal...
Hey, Kirk, if you're watching this, we're sorry.
He's not going to watch it, right? But... on stream, I said Jacksonville needs wide receivers who can be consistent for Trevor Lawrence, and Christian Kirk is not that guy. And I went on to allude to the fact that it was of my opinion, because I didn't fact check it yet, that he wasn't very consistent in his ability to catch these targets. However, In 2021, he was quite efficient catching the ball. He posted the 7th highest catch rate. Okay, catch rate is when you divide receptions by total targets. So the 7th highest catch rate in the NFL. That's the kind of consistency that the Jags are looking for from a wide receiver, someone who can consistently catch the ball. Now, has that been the case for his entire career? No, it's not. It's been up and down, but at least he did improve this year, right? So then I go back and I think, well, now he's going on a worse offense. Right? He's going from Arizona to Jacksonville. And then I start to think about the bad again. So again, I ask myself, has he ever finished as a top 12 wide receiver? No. I mean, in 2018, wide receiver 58. In 2019, wide receiver 38. In 2020, wide receiver 51. In 2021, wide receiver 26. I mean, he's averaging a wide receiver 43 finish for his entire career. It's
not okay.
This isn't exactly the type of money that you spend on a player who's never put up 1,000-yard season,
and that's
averaging a full wide receiver 43 finish. And the last thing I'll say just quickly is he's unproven as a workhorse. All right, he's getting a bigger piece of the pie in Jacksonville. But let's look at the last time he had a slightly large piece of pie as far as target share goes in Arizona. What did he do with it? So in 2019, he had the 26th most targets. That's his highest so far of his career. Okay. He finished wide receiver 38 that year and put up 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, when he was actually more efficient this year with less targets, so I guess that's a good thing. At the end of the day, it comes down to my belief in Christian Kirk. He's a really, 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 really good wide receiver 3. Like elite wide receiver 3.
Right.
He's not a wide receiver 1 on a team. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of fully explain why I did slightly move him up. It's a combination of players who don't have contracts.
I get it.
A combination of players who are aging. He's 25 years old. So there is hope. But again, like I showed you, a lot of bad as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's like my thing, like you only moved him up 3-4 spots and he's been averaging, like you said, wide receiver 43. I can't justify that, each and every year, especially with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and Kyler Murray. He's been doing that since Kyler Murray has been in the league. When Kyler Murray came into the league, 2019, wide receiver 38. His second year, wide receiver 51, just like you said. And then this past year was his highest year in 26. It's not even breaking top 25, top 20. Yeah. He's doing that with Kyler Murray. I don't see him going to Jacksonville, still getting the targets, or going up. Let's just say he goes up to wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 1, whatever the case may be. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just don't see that happening. And I do believe they're trying to accelerate, Trevor Lawrence's career by bringing all these pieces, Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, whatever the case may be. I don't think that's the answer. That's not you know what? Hey, let's try to get Trevor Lawrence as comfortable in a rhythm, with consistency as possible. But you're signing these guys. Well, really just Christian Kirk to the longest deal compared to everyone else. You have Dan Arnold, et cetera, et cetera.
I would say the Brandon Sheriff I think that's a good deal for them. I think they had to do that. It worries me that they're now not going to continue to address offensive line. I think they're going to go defense with that first pick, but I still think they need to go get Evan Neal. He's a generational tackle.
Yeah, and anything can change. And one thing I did see was the slot percentages of all these people that they have now.
Okay.
So Kirk 49% in the slot this past year, Laviska 52% this past year, Evan Ingram 44%, Dan Arnold 42%. Who the hell's gonna be?
Where are people gonna play?
Who the hell's gonna be in the slot? It's like where is these guys going to go? The first thing I thought of was quick slants on Madden. You're running that every single day. Everyone is crossing these routes just like that. It's like, all right, well, hopefully one of these guys can get open. They're gonna have to get open, like in Madden they do after a couple of minutes, and then you just do all out blitz and you send it. But it's just not going to happen. I completely agree.
Do you think the Jags want to play Kirk on the outside?
And that's
doesn't make a lot of sense.
And that's what I thought,
the case,
because he can stretch the field technically.
He's not been great on the outside though.
He is that. I mean, he hasn't. But most of the time, I feel like when you saw these deep balls from Kyler Murray, who was it? It was Christian Kirk. It was Kirk streaking out
D-hop,
there.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there is an opportunity for him to be on the outside. But even if he's on the outside, that still in my mind is like, well, that's worse.
Right. He doesn't operate well there.
He doesn't operate well, and I'd rather have him in the slot. So, I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said, he hasn't hit over 1,000. He hasn't hit over 1,000 yards the last 4 years. He hasn't had more than 7 touchdowns the last 4 years. This is with Kyler Murray in the past 3 years. There's no way. For me, I don't know about Zach, but for me, I believe Christian Kirk can finish in the top 25, can get over 1,000 more yards, can get 7 more touchdowns with Trevor Lawrence. I already have my ifs about Trevor Lawrence. That's because of the organization and what's happening, and I think this is the reason why.
There's a buy sell on our page for Trevor Lawrence, and you can watch that. It kind of goes into detail why I still believe in him.
Yeah.
I do think there's a possibility. There's the upside and the opportunity for Christian Kirk to finish as a top 24 wide receiver. The opportunity is there.
Right.
Okay. Now, what are the percentage chances of that happening? Probably less than 15%. Right. So there's opportunity. There's going to be target share. You paid him all this money.
I think that's the upside.
We're not all we're not all, I think everyone with Trevor Lawrence isn't ready to say he's not good. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a possibility. And I just want to talk about 2 things to close. Number 1, where are we comfortable taking him in a startup? And second, what's his trade value? So let's talk about the first one. Where are you comfortable taking him in a startup, Badake?
Look, in our past startup, I actually have it open here. He went at 13-12. He went ahead of people like he went after people like DJ Chark, Michael Gallup, Jacoby Myers, Allen Robinson, Cortland Sutton, Russell Gage. I think these are guys I would rather take a shot on over still Christian Kirk, just based on where they're at, who their quarterback is. I mean, maybe DJ Chark could be another conversation. How about this? Christian Kirk or DJ Chark?
Kirk, easy.
Okay.
I mean, Kirk has a guaranteed contract. He's connected to a better quarterback, better situation.
Christian Kirk, opinion. Michael Gallup. I mean,
Michael Gallup, easy.
Okay. See,
that's easy. And Michael Gallup's my wide receiver 35.
I feel like
you have to keep in mind, though, we haven't done a mock yet where
100%,
Kirk is on the Jags.
100%.
But what I wanted to say is I feel like he will be a value.
I think he will go up higher
in startups.
And our past mock, like I said, around 13. I think he creeps up to the early teens, maybe 9, 10, 11, around there.
Oof.
I think that
maybe 11.
You think he only goes up 2 rounds then if in our last?
Yeah, because he's not changing in our rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's changing in other people's rankings.
In the communities, I do believe they might like this because of the guaranteed money, the contract, and everything that's happening around Trevor Lawrence. If you're a Trevor Lawrence believer, they may have hope and belief that Christian Kirk could be this guy. But for us,
let's talk about his trade value just to finish off here. I think this is a really good time to sell because money talks.
100%.
I mean, people are going to be talking about the guaranteed money. They're going to be talking about, hey, they're probably going to be using him. So for me, right now on Keep Trade Cut, you can get and that's according to crowdsourcing. So according to everyone,
correct,
not just us, thousands and thousands of people are willing to give up an early 2nd round pick in this year's draft, and that is a very, very valuable pick in my opinion. With the wide receiver depth that's available this year.
Agreed.
So if you can go out and get anything from the 201 to the 204, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would much rather have a Jahan Dotson, a Sky Moore, a George Pickens, David Bell, even though I'm not in love with him. I would rather have the unknowns of one of these other guys in the rookie draft. Maybe a Trey McBride, who knows? So for me, I think it's definitely time to go sell. I mean, I've already seen trades go down for him where I'm like, oh,
exactly. 100%.
Pretty high on Kirk then.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Definitely test the waters.
No, I completely agree. You set early 2nd, try to sell him as high as possible right now. I think this is a great time. Look, there's 2 scenarios that can happen. You can sell him now for a 2nd, or he can have an amazing season, finishes the top 15, and you're like, well, this is what we all told you about Christian Kirk and Trevor. This is why Trevor Lawrence was amazing. I think the chances of that is really slim, and still getting a 2nd right here, right now, I think this could be the highest, his value could ever be. So let's say he finishes as a top 15 wide receiver. Does his value get higher next year? I think he can go up in rankings. I don't think his value goes up.
Yeah, you don't get more from him in trade market.
No.
He's 25 now, he'll be 26 then. So it's not as if he's old, but I don't think the perception would change even if he has a top 20 season of the trade market. But all right, guys, let us know. You liking this Kirk move? Are you disliking this Kirk move? I will say, as much as the Jags have been hounded on social media for their free agency so far, I can sort of understand what they're doing because they're bad everywhere. This isn't a team that like you go into the offseason and that's like the Bengals, let's address the offensive line.
Right.
The Jags are like, we are awful everywhere. Okay. Let's go and get players that we think are okay that could raise our floor a little bit. So should they have paid Kirk that? Absolutely not. Like that is stupid. And the other thing that I heard someone say is we're all forgetting that they could have traded a 5th round pick and paid Amari Cooper the same amount of money.
Exactly.
Which
they could have paid
when
anyone.
you think about it that way,
they could have re-signed GJ Chark on a 1-year deal or whatever the case may be, and I think we all would have been more happy with that as well. They still would have saved money.
Yeah. Hey, broke money don't make none. Let us know. Are you liking this Kirk move? Comment down below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks
up?
for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.